welcome back to Canadian Justice, where we're discussing the challenges of prosecuting police when police commit offenses, in particular sexual assaults. There's another story that recently has received a lot of attention. It involves an OPP officer who was convicted of sexually assaulting an unconscious woman and recording the assault on his phone. He says that he recorded this to quote, teach her a lesson about becoming intoxicated. His name is Jason Redman, and he was convicted of the assault in February, but his sentencing has now been delayed until May. The assault took place in 2017, but at that point, Redman was already on paid leave for a 2015 drug trafficking conviction, which he was convicted of in 2018. So obviously there's a number of noteworthy things here. First, the OPP actually didn't inform the public of the charge of sexual assault. The second is that this officer now has 2 serious criminal convictions, but is still employed by the OPP and has been on paid leave since 2015. And in 2021, he made $121,000. First, Rachel, can you react to the paid leave portion of this story, and then to the fact that the OPP didn't disclose these charges?
Yes, Christine. So basically, you and I and Ms. Gilbert as well, we've all been paying this individual for the last 7 years. And again, as I said before, at many other jobs, almost all other jobs, this kind of behavior wouldn't fly. And this officer is literally has it made, so to speak. He does not have to work, and he's making about $120,000 a year for doing absolutely nothing. It's like he's being rewarded for being criminally charged and convicted. So that part really makes me sick. I really don't like reading that and hearing that that's how public money is being spent at all.
Especially when there's so many other areas that we view as underfunded. To give $121,000 to this convicted officer who really abused his position, it's so egregious. Daphne, anything to add there on paid leave? Does it need to be reformed? And on the fact that the public had no idea about this until recently?
Well, this is a very violent man. In addition to these 2 convictions, he's also facing 11 other charges that are underway as well for very violent behavior. As far as the paid leave is concerned, the Ontario government promised it was going to reform the Police Act and allow the suspension of officers without pay if they are charged with an offense. Currently, they can only be suspended without pay if they are sentenced to a period of incarceration. And so that's why he was able to get so many years of leave. Even though he was convicted, he was never actually sent to jail. We have a government in Ontario that's very friendly with the police and has just announced that they're going to be giving free tuition to all new police cadets. And so, we have a government that is not interested in coming down hard on the police. And that's a political decision that's been made here. But in general, it's very difficult to go after police officers when they have got such strong protection, both from their unions, but also now from provincial governments that are favorable to police.
I would add, though, that paid leave is not something that emerged in the last 4 years of the provincial government. This has been seems to have been a longstanding practice at the OPP. Daphne, is there anything you want to say about the challenges faced by victims who want to bring allegations of sexual assault, in particular against police officers, and some of the really high hurdles that they might face that are maybe different from bringing an allegation against, an ordinary citizen?
Well, the hurdles are so high already, and you can imagine how this complainant in the Snellgrove case felt. The assault happened in 2014 and it's 2023, and he is finally going to jail. That's an incredible amount of resilience and persistence that is required. But
is that a longer period of time than a typical sexual assault conviction? Yeah. Okay.
It is. I mean, we have a very slow system in Canada, but that is much longer than it would normally take, and that's because of all the different appeals that he was allowed to make. I think it's very difficult to imagine if you're in a small community and you're living amongst officers and you're in a community of people who know each other, that you would be bringing a charge against the police would be very difficult. You don't necessarily have other places to go with your charge. It's not like you can just go to a different office of the police if you're living in a small community. And, there's a lot of stigma around being a sexual assault complainant. And I think that's exacerbated when it's the police that you're complaining about.
Yeah. We've got to go to break, but we will be right back.